Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Edith, and I like to read books and yap about them to you guys. So, stick around if you enjoy books in any sort of way. Today we're here to do a monthly reading wrap-up. If you don't know what that is basically the list of books I read last month, which for this video is going to be March. This won't be posted until the 6th of April, but it is the 1st of April now. I like to not film them until the month is over because I'm always scared that I'm gonna binge a book the last day of the month. So it's the 1st of April now, which means we can officially sit down and do this. So March was a good month. I don't know. I feel like I've been reading a lot lately, and I actually started out the month thinking I would not be reading that many books because one of the first books ended up taking me quite a while, but I guess I got kind of quickly through some others. But without further ado, let's just go through the books. I'll tell you what they're about and what I rated them and what I thought about them. I started the month out. This has been like a theme. I start every month out with a book I'm so far into, and yet I don't finish it in time to have it in a reading wrap up. But I did in fact start out the year, or not the year, wow. I did in fact start out the month by finishing up The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. This is very self-explanatory. It's a memoir about Britney Spears. I don't really think I'm going to get into too much about what it's about. It's about her life, and especially with everything that happened with her dad and all of that part of it. And I don't rate memoirs, or I don't really like to rate a lot of nonfiction if it's based on real life stories, if that makes any sense. If I could rate this, though, I think I would rate it really highly because I really enjoyed this. I really enjoy memoirs in a whole, and I want to read more of them. I really, really do. And this was really interesting. I knew of Britney Spears, but this let me into a whole side of her that I don't think people would know unless they read this. So I would 10 out of 10 recommend this to read it, especially if you're a fan. Then also read it, but also just if you are interested in the music part of it all and stuff like that. Definitely worth the read. And then we moved into a book that I have a reading vlog of. It took me a while to get through, which was why I didn't think I'd be reading that many books this month, and that was in fact Fairytale by Veronica Lanchett. I read this on my Kindle for the Reading a Booktuber's favorite book. It was Bailey's Bookshelves. I will make sure to link the videos I talk about either in a corner or just down below. But if you want full thoughts, full review, go watch that video. I ended up rating it a 4.75 stars, which is really great. It was a bit over the top sometimes, but I feel like you were if you me got it introduced by someone else, you were told to be prepared to forget about any kind of making sense. And that is what I would say to you guys too. If you want to read it and you want to love it, go into it knowing that you're going to be thinking what the fuck half of the time. And I do think that's why it's not a 5-star read, that there were too many moments where I was a little bit yeah, no, that's too much. But I feel like it's either the kind of book you love or hate. It was really weird, and I love really weird books, so I loved it. But I can see why people wouldn't like it. And then after that, side story for this, a book club pick month, or a book club pick for this month, was Wild Side. I had not read Wild Love or Wild Eyes, so I decided, let me try and see if I can read all three. And I was like, I don't think I can make it, which wasn't the problem. There was another problem. I did start off reading Wild Love by Elsie Silver, in case you were wondering. Loved it. Loved it. I gave it a 4.5. I did give it a 4.5, and honestly, I feel like that's what I do mostly with Elsie Silver books. It's like a 4 or above, which is great for a romance writer, I feel like. Anyway, they are interconnected standalones, the books I'm going to be talking about now, and they, I didn't finish the Chestnut Spring series yet, but I did read Heartless, which is the only one that's kind of connected to it, and it's not really, but it's the female main character's in that brother who's a billionaire. He wants to do music, and then his best friend's sister moves back into town after some troubles with her work, and he ends up giving her a job. He's always loved her, and I love that. He was yearning for her, which definitely want that. Like, he was obsessed with her from before the book even started. And I loved it. I really did love it. If you want more thoughts on that, I read it in my Week in My Life vlog I recently posted, and I will also be sure to link it somewhere. I gave a bit more like in depth what I was thinking while reading it, and also a little bit more what it was about. Because then after that, I jumped straight into Wild Eyes, thinking I was just gonna read all three quick easy. Wild Eyes, I gave a 5-star. 5-star read. 5-star read. It was so good. It was so good. First of all, I loved West. West, that's his name, right? I tried to do like a thing where I write down what the books are about, but then I didn't do it for this month. So now we're again just going off from what I remember, which is so stupid. But West was really, he was amazing. He was a great dad, and I don't know why, but that was so amazing. I loved seeing the way the female main character came from like a not that great family, and then how it kind of healed her to see him being such a great dad. I actually think that was one of my favorite parts of the book. That, and then the romance was just so adorable. Basically, in that book, the female main character is then a big musician who ends up going to this small town to work with the guy from the first book on an album, kind of on her own. She's kind of hiding from a bunch of stuff. And then she meets West, who's actually secretly like her biggest fucking fan, which also, again, loved. I loved. It both of these books had like the he like loves her basically from the beginning, and I love that. And then it's single dad on top of that. I'm in for it. I'm totally in for it. So like I said, I ended up giving it a 5-star read. I loved everything about it. I loved the relationship. I loved the characters. I loved the dynamics. And I loved the kids. I really loved his kids. They were really adorable. And I feel like that's like the only thing with single dad is that sometimes the kids end up being annoying. Not here. But then after Wild Eyes, I didn't feel like reading anymore small town romance, even though, and then I heard like mixed things about Wildside, I feel like. But I will be picking it up maybe next month, sometime soon, hopefully, because I do want to like finish up the series. But I didn't do it this month. Instead, I took a little bit of a break and read Save Me an Orange. I annotated it. And again, I don't really want to give this a rating because I feel like she based it so much off of her like own life that it feels too personal for me to be like, yeah, no, it was a 3-star. So I thought it was great. There were some things that I really related to, some things I didn't relate to at all, but I could still see that they were like beautifully written. It is a collection of poems, if you were wondering, and it's been so viral lately. So I decided to just give it a try. And honestly, I don't have that many thoughts except for the fact that I would recommend it. Yeah, if you want to like read any kind of poem things, I would. Okay, so yeah, the mic died and I didn't realize until I was editing. Now it's the day before this has to be posted and I still have in fact not finished it. I apologize if there's background noise because the windows are open, but it's going to be too hot if I close them. So I'm just going to have to live with that. It cut out when I was talking about this. Save Me an Orange. And I don't remember anything I had left to say except for the fact that I would recommend this if you want a quick little book you can read in like one sitting, and it's very touching. And then I in fact picked up Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent. And I've been thinking so much on my rating for this. I think I may have rated it a little bit too highly because when I'm talking about it afterwards, I focus on all the negative stuff. I gave it a 3.75 because in my brain I had fun while reading it, but I can keep picking out stuff that I did not like. There were some kinks in it I did not like, which again, a me problem, not an author problem, but still affects the way I think about the book. It was a little bit too much copy and paste, kind of like the rest of the God of Stuff series. I feel like it's the same story, just different characters, and therefore it changes a little bit. I did really enjoy one of the one of the main male characters. I did, however, not really enjoy the other one. I felt a little bit like it was too much like power imbalance, and it was focused a bit too much on that power imbalance, in my opinion. So I do think I would lower the rating quite a bit to like maybe a 3. I actually think I would do that because it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's bad. I still had fun reading it, but there's too many bad things for me to keep that rating. And then I read Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. Now this is how you write a book. If you don't know, this is in fact about a group of people who go to an apartment like viewing the day before New Year's Eve, and then someone, whatever, tries to rob a bank. Turns out this bank is like they don't have physical money, and so panicking, running from this bank, the robber accidentally takes this entire apartment filled with people hostage. And while that sounds really thrilling, it was more a little bit cozy mystery, but mostly it was just like about these people and all the stuff they have going on in their lives. This was in fact a 5-star read for me. I really enjoyed this so much more than I was expecting to, and I would 100% recommend it to anybody out there. It is very much like it's the kind of book I really like because it's not just character based, it also has like an interesting and funny plot. I laughed, I almost cried. This was everything you would want in a book. Like it brought out all the emotions, and I will definitely be reading more from Fredrik Backman. And then we have made it to the final book I read in March, which is in fact Tell Me I'm an Artist by Chelsea Martin, which will be in an upcoming video that will come out in the end of April at some point. So I won't go too far into it, but I will, of course, give you guys the fact that I gave it 4 stars. And I really enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. I have never heard anything about this. I tried searching it up on TikTok. Nobody talks about it, and they should. Joey, our female main character, goes to San Francisco at an art school. We follow her over the course of one semester, where she has to make a self-portrait in like a film studies class, and she decides to remake the movie Rushmore, even though she's never seen the movie before. I haven't seen the movie before either, so maybe some parts would make more sense if you had. I don't think so, though. This was so interesting. This was more character focused with very little plot. So, I was scared I wasn't going to enjoy that, but I really did. I liked being inside of Joey's head, and I thought she was really interesting. So, I'm not going to say that much more about this. I will have full thoughts in an upcoming video with this one in it. But finally, we can end this off, and that was in fact every single book I read in March. So, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Comment down below if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, if you have any recommendations for me for the next month coming up, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you get notified every single time I post. I try to post every single Saturday. Sometimes it goes off by like a day or something, but I do try my best, and any kind of support means the world. So, without further ado, I will see you all next week.